for joining us in Known Profits, where we uncover untold stories of nonprofits here in West Michigan. I'm so excited to have Salina Bishop with us today from Ronald McDonald House.
Yeah, Salina, welcome. Excited to have you here. It's close to Thanksgiving, you guys. Everyone excited? Thanksgiving time?
Yeah, holiday
Turkeys,
season is upon
stuffing,
us.
all the stuff.
Pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin pie. We always hear Salina have a question of the day. And so my question today is, what is your favorite Thanksgiving side? If you had to pick any side ever created, what would you pick? I'm going to kick it to Drew first to let our guests think a little bit. But Drew, what is your favorite Thanksgiving side?
So mine is pumpkin pie. And my mom...
Is that a dessert, Drew? Or is that a side? I'm judging right now.
It could be
it's
both.
fair to be both.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Don't judge over
But the
there.
reason is my mom had this wonderful homemade pie recipe for a family member of ours who had a dietary need, but it was homemade, it was fresh, it was fantastic. And she still makes it for me to this day. Every Thanksgiving we come over and load it up with whipped cream, and that is what I look forward to every Thanksgiving.
It's pretty good. But you don't like pumpkin spice latte, just to clarify.
You know what? Pumpkin pie
Different. I know.
versus too much sugar in your coffee, Kyle.
That's true. Those different things. JR, what about you? What is your favorite side?
Yeah, so my in-laws actually converted me. I never liked green bean casserole my whole life until I got married 10 years ago. And every Thanksgiving, I look forward to Aunt Kathy's green bean casserole. So shout out to Aunt Kathy.
Cream of mushroom soup. Yeah, it's delicious. You actually took mine, JR. I was excited to have the hot take of green bean casserole, and I still have it. But we can share in this together now.
It's okay to share.
Yeah. I feel like our bond is becoming even tighter through that side. Salina, what about you? What is your favorite?
Oh my goodness. I can't believe you guys did not say this. It's stuffing. Stuffing, hands down. But the thing is, nobody else in my family really likes it. So I have to make my own stuffing, and I make a lot of it because I eat the whole thing.
So it's homemade.
It's homemade
It's not like
stuffing. It's
stovetop.
nothing. No.
That was our family. I'm sorry.
No stovetop.
It's
No.
legit.
Yeah. No, that's not legit.
That is not legit.
That's not legit.
Stovetop. Okay, I'm taking notes. Not legit. Okay.
Not legit. Stovetop's not it.
Nice. Salina, thanks so much for being here. Why don't you get us started by telling us about yourself and also Ronald McDonald House of West Michigan?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Salina Bishop. I was born and raised here in West Michigan, Jenison. So I'm a Jenison Wildcat a long time ago. When I was growing up, I lived in a multi-generational home. So my grandparents lived with us growing up. So they came from Cuba. My mom came when she was 7 years old. I think my uncle was 11 years old. And growing up in Jenison in a Cuban family was really different because that is not Jenison. However, I didn't know any different. And I can remember my friends, when they'd come over, they'd always be like, why are your grandparents here? Why do they live with you? And I'd be like, why don't yours? That's weird. So my whole life, it was just very family oriented. And it was actually the Christian Reformed Church that sponsored my grandparents and my mom and my uncle to come from Cuba. And they just made sure that they were wrapped in love and that they had jobs and that they were taken care of. And so from an early age, I always knew that that was an important piece to community. And so I am now at the Ronald McDonald House Charities, West Michigan. I'm their chief development officer there. I've been there for about 16 months now. It is a fantastic organization with such an incredible mission. Our mission, if you don't already know, is to provide a home away from home for families, because we believe families are stronger together. So when their kids are going through critical medical treatment, families need a place to stay because they're traveling from all over the state of Michigan, out of state, even out of the country, to get their child the care that they need here in West Michigan, because we have such a robust pediatric healthcare here. So our job is to ensure that we take any barriers away from families to accessing that care for their child. And I couldn't be more humbled by being able to be part of that mission.
What drew you to the organization in the first place? How did you first become introduced to the Ronald McDonald House?
Yeah. So I think we all know about the Ronald McDonald House. And I think what often happens around here, people will say, we have a Ronald McDonald House? Oh, I didn't know that. That's great. Where is it? And I'm just like, no, we do so much for, maybe it's not the West Michigan community, but it's for all of the families that are coming from all over the state that they're seeking our house because we do all of the wraparound care for them. So from a place to stay, food to eat, transportation, all of those things. When I was introduced to it, it was through an executive recruiter. And I was kind of, I don't know. And then I started really thinking about it and the mission. And it just brought me right back to my roots, which are in healthcare. And although this is healthcare adjacent, I don't know if there's anything more important than ensuring you're removing barriers for parents and caregivers when they're going through such crisis, and that's the health of their child.
When you think of a family going through that crisis, what's the timing look like? I'm sure there's some procedures and hospital stays that are pre-planned, but are there other times when it's urgent and all of a sudden a family has to come here for a treatment that we can provide in West Michigan, and they need that housing on a short notice?
Oh, absolutely. I think some families, they might be able to plan it, that their treatment for their child is in a couple weeks, and so they can plan it. Others, they're following AeroMed. Others, they're following an ambulance, and it's just getting to the hospital. And so it really just depends, because everybody's crisis is different. And I think that's what the house is for, is to ensure that families have a place to land and they have that wraparound. So having a place to sleep, not necessarily at the bedside, a place to shower, a place to eat and have a meal whenever you need it, that's meaningful. And it just takes that barrier or that maybe obstacle and just eases that burden. It takes that burden away for families. So yeah, I mean, families come just any which way, through emergency, because you can't plan for crisis. Yeah. And you can't even really plan for that treatment. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Salina, thanks again for being here. I actually talked to one of my close friends who they had a child several years ago, needed health care in Philadelphia. And so they're from West Michigan, went to Philly, and they actually utilized and used Ronald McDonald House. And I just asked him, I'm like, hey, how was your experience? And my buddy was like, it was incredible, right? Again, like you mentioned earlier, it took a lot of the burden of having to figure out, okay, I have health bills, got to find a place to stay, all these other factors that go into it. And then I think the thing that landed with me was he was like, every time we woke up, someone actually cared about us, right? It wasn't just this, hey, how you doing? Okay, see you later. But they actually cared about me and my family. And so from his story to that, do you have, I'm sure there are many stories of impact that you've just want to share with our audience?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's such a great question, because every family has a different experience and their journey is so different. And really, we want to be a home away from home. And so there aren't strangers in your home. So what we really try to do is just meet the families where they are, and just what is their need. So we have a really wonderful family services manager who listens closely to maybe some of those conversations families are having. And if somebody's like, oh, I really like Cool Ranch Doritos, we go out of our way to order that from our shipped order, like a Meijer order, to ensure that we have Cool Ranch Doritos in the house and they don't have to even think about Cool Ranch Doritos anymore.
I'm trying to get to that point in my house where there's always Cool Ranch Doritos.
There you go.
But that's huge, right? I mean, it talks to, we want the families to feel like they're at home, right? And in the hardest of situations when they're thinking about everything else. So yeah, that's incredible.
It is. And I think too, one of the stories that always stuck out to me was a woman came last minute. She just brought the clothes that were on her, and she had a little one with her who wasn't receiving treatment. So it was the sibling. And she came and she was trying to get out of the house to get to the hospital. And she realized she didn't have an extra pair of socks. The socks she was wearing were in the wash, just one pair of socks, and just started to have somewhat of a meltdown. Like that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And our family services manager heard that and grabbed her a pair of socks and was like, it's okay. And while she was gone to the hospital, it chokes me up because I just think this is how great the team is at the house. While she was gone at the hospital, they ensured that in her room, she would have socks under everything she could need without even having to ask. They saw that need before that person even had to ask. Yeah. And that's what the house is for. That's its meaning. That's its mission. And we can only do that through support. Yeah.
Is that there's a lot of it too is culture, right? Like building this, hey, this is the expectation. When someone comes into this house, we want them to feel this way. What does that look like on your end, on your team's end, as far as bringing new staff in, training them, kind of getting them to this is how we need to treat everyone. Is it pretty easy to get them to buy? I'm guessing to get them to buy into that kind of mindset. I'm sure.
I think so. And I always tell my team, in order for us to be able to care for our families and the people that are staying here, we have to care for each other first. That's it. So when you come through the door, we have to care for each other. We need to make sure we're a support system for everybody there. And I think that sets the standard for the families, because if your team is dysfunctional, if your team is having issues, families are going to feel that. So first and foremost, that needs to happen.
It sounds like there's so much value to your clients you're serving in not only the utility of a place to stay, but the comfort in having the things that do whatever it can to relax you in a challenging situation, or to provide some level of comfort or peace in a very scary part of their life. And I think the same too, JR, with what you're doing at Community Food Club and shopping with dignity. It's not just about the utility of providing the function that's needed, but it's doing so in a way that really adds value, and to provide them that peace in that. I think that's so incredibly important than just providing the utility.
Right. Now, I couldn't say that. I mean, you said it perfectly. I think we can do things. We can do these little things, but it's really about the environment. It's about what we provide, that feeling around the families. Because it is about comfort. It's about care. It's about ensuring that they do have this place to stay, a place that they can do laundry, that they can shower, because first and foremost, I wouldn't want to be thinking about that. I'd want to be thinking about the health and wellness of my child. And that makes more sense than, where am I going to sleep? Where am I going to eat? Am I going to have to do vending machine food again? We try to alleviate that. And that's what we do. I mean, we're just meeting people where they are and trying to
even hospital cafeteria food isn't that great
exactly. So we do all home cooked meals. So they are every night there's a dinner made by our volunteers. They come in, they cook a home cooked meal for our families. And last week I was in the kitchen, and it was so funny because one of our family members was like, when can we eat? This smells so good, because we were making meatloaf.
Ooh,
It smelled amazing. It was really great.
I love that on the volunteers, as we're focused on the meals. I remember serving with a team actually at Ronald McDonald House, and we put together a meal, and I had a great time. But it makes me think, what other opportunities are there, or what are the opportunities to serve and be involved with Ronald McDonald House?
Yeah. So our volunteer program is pretty amazing. So we've been able to retain, and people can fact check me. I think about 1,500 volunteers this year alone. So we get a lot of corporate volunteers come in, and it's a team building, because I'm guessing you did that with a group. So it's a great team building experience. So we do meal making, treat baking. So we all need something sweet, because that always is great. We have in-house volunteers that help us flip rooms and clean, do laundry, fold towels, change bedding, that kind of stuff. We also have seasonal volunteers. And that's really important as well, like for outdoor cleanup, the fall, spring cleanup, all of those things. So there's so many opportunities for volunteering. You just have to go online and take a look. So, yeah.
Salina, talk to us a little bit about the McDonald's connection. Obviously, it's in the name, but what does the funding look like for McDonald's when it comes to supporting you guys as the Ronald McDonald House?
Yeah, that's a great question and a common misconception. So this will be myth busting time.
Ooh.
I know. Here it comes, guys. Ready? McDonald's corporate does not support any Ronald McDonald House charities. So our support with McDonald's comes from individual owner operators. So the state of Michigan has 4 Ronald McDonald houses, one here in Grand Rapids, Lansing, Detroit, and Ann Arbor. And what we have is owner operators that own multiple McDonald's stores throughout the state of Michigan. Each one of those stores are allocated to a house. So when somebody goes through the line of drive-thrus, I know we all do it. I do it. I love it. You can round up, and that simple, maybe 47 cents makes an enormous impact on our budget and our revenue. It's really what sustains us. And an interesting fact, when you do round up at McDonald's and you get your receipt, you can actually itemize that on your taxes because it's a direct donation.
So my understanding is that most of the clients you're serving are actually not from West Michigan. What opportunities does that have to, to show folks coming here the hospitality of West Michigan? As we're bringing more people to our community and our healthcare systems are serving people from outside our community, what impact has that had just on how people perceive our community, and how can we support that as we look to be able to help our visitors that are coming here to utilize our healthcare systems?
Yeah, no, that's a really great question. I think what's so important for us to realize here in West Michigan is we have such an incredible healthcare landscape. People travel from all over the place just to be here, not just for pediatrics, but for adult as well. You could throw a rock and hit somebody that works at one of those 4 or 5 referral partners that we have. Everybody works there. And so for me, I see this as it's our responsibility here as residents of West Michigan to ensure that there are no barriers for families to access care for their child, for themselves. And the barrier shouldn't be, where am I going to stay? Where am I going to eat? Where am I going to sleep? Where am I going to have a shower? And so I think West Michigan should totally, individual donors, individual supporters, businesses should really be looking at this as, yeah, we're bringing people here. They're coming here. They're probably shopping at Meijer because people will still want to have that sense of normalcy. So they're utilizing the things that are happening here. So it's our responsibility to take care of them. So there's plenty of opportunity for supporters to join in and make sure that this is available for anybody that needs our services.
Now, you said your current role is leading the development team for Ronald McDonald House of West Michigan, but there is a change coming.
There is.
What is that?
That sounds so cool, doesn't it?
It sounds exciting.
I know. Stay tuned. Yeah. So our current president and CEO, Ellen Carpenter, announced her retirement, which is so exciting because I just want to celebrate those who are able to get to that point in their career. They've worked long, they've worked hard, they've done really incredible stuff. She got there and she's going to retire. However, now I've been tapped by the board, by Ellen, who really just backed me in this, was like, you need to be in this role. And I just feel so humbled and grateful. And so I'm going to be taking on the president and CEO role on January 1.
Awesome.
I know. New year, new me.
What benefit does this have to have this type of succession plan? What does that mean for you and your organization? And what can other nonprofits learn from this planning?
Yeah. So I'm so grateful to Ellen because she knew that this was an opportunity to onboard somebody, because I think so often nonprofits hire from the outside. They don't look within. They don't look at the history, at the people doing the work. It's always on the outside. But she had the thought, no, this person, and it's hard for me to even promote myself in that way, but this person knows what she's doing and she will make a great leader. And so her thought when she approached me and was like, I want you to consider this role, and our board chair wants you to consider this role, and here's my plan of succession. I was blown away by that because so many nonprofits don't have a succession plan for their development coordinator. So to think about this in that way, we're setting the organization up for success so that there isn't a gap. So there's a better transition for the team, for our families, because it's not like we're going to get a new set of families come January 1. These are families that could be doing some crossover into January as well. So we're really just being mindful and intentional about how we're doing this. And I'm just so happy because so many nonprofits don't do that.
Yeah. I think that retention, whatever you're talking about, development team, you're talking about nonprofit staff in general, it's the turnover is pretty often, right? And so to be able to have that is huge, right? As you continue to move forward and grow as well.
Absolutely.
Salina, you shared a lot about self-care for the families and how Ronald McDonald House is helping, but how are you in this stage with these transitions? How do you find self-care? What brings you life?
Yeah, my family brings me life. I am very protective of my personal time. I try to exercise. I like to run. And I really just love spending time with my family. I call my mom for just advice and just to kind of talk things out. But I think I'm a pretty grounded person. And I think being in the nonprofit space, we can oftentimes run ourselves ragged. But I've been around long enough to know I don't want that. I don't want that for myself. I don't want that for my team. So finding that personal time to really take care of myself, I won't be my best if I don't do that. And I'm just not willing to sacrifice that because then I'm not coming to work as a good person.
That's incredibly important. You have to take care of yourself to take care of others.
Yes.
Well, and can I point out too the fact that as the leader, right, you're setting that tone. I think that's huge. I heard the statement of, I want my team to feel that too. And I think that is huge to be able to really, really model that well for your whole team, right? That's incredible.
Absolutely. I think so often organizational leaders find value in busyness. And somebody once asked me just a couple months ago, asked me how I was doing. I said, I'm just really busy. And she says, well, what kind of busy are you? Is it the kind that you're like, I hate this busy, or are you feeling fulfilled? And that really changed my mindset. And so I think about that when I say I'm busy. Is this something that is fulfilling me, or is it something that I can probably sacrifice? And I'm really trying to look at that. I'm not a spring chicken. And I know, life moves forward, and I want to hold on to my family because that's the most important thing too.
Yeah, absolutely.
What inspires you? What keeps you going? And also, how can we get more involved with Ronald McDonald House? How can our listeners get connected?
Yeah. What inspires me? I don't know. I think God has given me a specific gift that I wasn't really sure I ever had. And so my inspiration is really just helping people because I think of all the times people have helped me. I had quite the non-traditional adulthood. I raised my daughter as a single mother. And so for me, I want to help people. I don't want people to carry heavy burdens. If I can help them, kind of ease that. So that's really my inspiration, just doing good, because that's what I feel like I'm here for.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And people can get involved with Ronald McDonald House Charities by visiting www.rmhcwm.org. And there's plenty of opportunities out there, and we've got events, and we've got great volunteer opportunities, and they can always reach out to me too. I love talking to people, if you can't tell.
It's awesome. Well, Salina, thank you so much for joining us. I speak for these guys, for our listeners too. It's always such a privilege to hear more specifically about what you guys are doing at Ronald McDonald House. So thank you for joining us today. If you want to get involved with what they're doing at Ronald McDonald House, check out the website on our webpage. Also, check out Known Profits. We are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and then our website, our socials on Instagram at Known Profits Pod, and then on Facebook at the Known Profits Podcast.
And Kyle, we have an email address now too.
We do. Yeah. So if you want to email us at knownprofits@gmail.com with questions that you have, stories you want to share, we're going to try to share some of those in upcoming episodes. So we want to hear from you guys. We think it's really important to really highlight the community. So feel free to email us, ask us questions, and we'll definitely be interacting with you. JR, okay, I need to reaffirm this. Green bean casserole is your favorite side.
It is. Correct.
You just didn't just say that because you knew it was mine.
No, I had no idea it was yours.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we have that connection still.
Back to my mother, though, and cooking. If you ever meet my mother, you have to ask her about the stuffing coming out of the backside of a turkey at Thanksgiving.
This is out of control. We'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, Salina.
Thank you.